What's up? What's up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay and the Shark. We here. It's Monday. We're trying to get some cash. It's us against the bookies, man. As always, man. Free NBA picks every single day. What's up with you, Shark? Everything cool with you?
Absolutely. Taking a breath. Beautiful Monday morning. I love Mondays. I know a lot of people don't love Mondays. I like the beginning of a new opportunity. It makes me feel free, still, peaceful, as if there's a lot of time, because there is a lot of time to be had. Of course, we're getting into the second month of the NBA season. We're going to get data, second, third matchups, rivalries, dynamics, trends developing. It's time to dominate. 8 games on the card. Jay Money, lead the way, and let's get in there.
Yes, sir, my guys. Definitely time to dominate. Let's try to get to some cash today. Like I say, always free NBA picks, guys. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe, and retweet the show as well on Twitter. We all trying to cash. Bring those good luck vibes, it's positive vibes, and let's get some cash here, guys. First game up. It's all business here, Sharp. We're going to the streets of Cleveland here. We got the Cavs laying minus 2.5 points versus the Atlanta Hawks here. Cavs obviously coming in off a back-to-back, so they are at the rest disadvantage in theory, coming off absolutely smoking the Heat yesterday in this one. Shark. Hawks coming off their win versus the Raptors, right? Overtime win, 1-0 by 2. How we looking at this game, my guy?
Well, I think the first standout point in this game is just the direct split in efficiency between the West and the East for Cleveland. Cleveland right now is 9-1 ATS against the East. They're also 6-0 ATS against the East at home, of course, catching wind in an early season homestand with a sequence of covers. And it brings you to the point you just mentioned. This is a 3rd and 4 back-to-back spot, theoretical fatigue spot. However, the only time they found themselves in this environment at home this season was Sunday, October 23rd. They did cover the game, albeit in overtime against Washington, 117-107. This is the first matchup of the year. Last year, there was a lot of scatteredness with these teams. I think it's symptomatic to both teams last year. Of course, we know Cleveland was really scorching hot early season ATS, did fade significantly. So the line was a bit all over the place. But you do get a triple revenge game here for Cleveland. They have lost 3 in a row to Atlanta. Atlanta's been a little inconsistent. Obviously, Atlanta on the road, not really the spot you want to buy. I'm not on this game. I think there's a little bit of difficulty here, but I believe you have an official on this one.
Yeah, man. I like the Cavs in this one, guys. They've lost 4 straight games, man, to this Atlanta Hawks game, Atlanta Hawks team, man. This is the time is now for the Cavs. I think they're starting to mow down some of these Eastern Conference teams, letting them know that they're here. I like what I saw last night. I didn't like what I saw the previous. Obviously, they were coming off 4 straight losses. They get the win in overtime versus the Hornets, but I didn't like what I saw. They were up double digits. This game should never even went to overtime, but I like what I saw yesterday. Started getting back to playing Cavs basketball. They were up by like 26 points at halftime versus the Heat. I'm talking about absolute smoke show yesterday, and I think that's even more key because it's a back-to-back, but they didn't have to travel anywhere. No one played over 30 minutes. Karis LeVert did get a little banged up. He injured his ankle. Maybe he won't play here regardless. I don't care. I sent some from the Hawks. I'm watching this team versus the Raptors. John Collins is likely about to be traded. This team is disconnected right now. They barely even want to pass him the ball. The Hawks bench is one of the worst benches in the league, my guys. I think the Cavs mow them down. I think they start off early and often, guys. I should take a Cavs trifecta spot here. I shouldn't be scared, but I'll tell you this right now. I'm on Cavs first half minus the 1. I'm on Cavs full game minus the 2.5. You could take the money line, whatever you like. I like the Cavs today to smack up these Hawks, my guys. I think there's going to be times that spaces to fade the Hawks until they get rid of Collins. AJ Griffin off the bench is playing a lot better for them, my guys. So what I see them doing, Griffin will start, and then Collins get traded away regardless. The Hawks are a fade right now. Shark, give me the Cavs here, first half in full game. Let's go over here to the next game, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Indiana here. Indianapolis, we got the Pacers laying 6.5 points versus the Orlando Magic in this one, Shark. Obviously, Pacers being red hot, have been somewhat teetering on a loss, though. You like anything here?
Yeah, I think conventional wisdom would suggest what we were discussing off the record, and of course, we'll talk about it right now. Indiana is scorching hot, and I don't think anybody saw this coming. Of course, this team came out 1-4 to start the season. I think people thought, okay, this is who Indiana is going to be. Obviously, Rick Carlisle, a couple in and out parts, obviously the big trade with Sacramento, but we had talked about this briefly last week. This seems to be working out very well for both sides. I mean, Sacramento's playing great ball, so is Indiana, but you find them very, very hot right now. 8-2 straight up in their last 10, dub 4, won 5 out of 6 And now you get a revenge game in the same stadium for Orlando, which we know, no matter what the line says, is an inherent lean to the team that just lost the game. You saw it last night with the game that Dallas played against Denver. Denver won the game 98-97. Dallas played a lackluster game. I think you're going to see a potentially similar environment here. Orlando is 2-0 ATS on this trip. There's a lot of angles going on here, but again, I believe you have an official on this one.
Yeah, man, I'm on the Magic here. I took them last night plus the 7. It's down to 6.5, 6 at some spots. I like it here. The quick revenge angle. The Magic played them really tough. Even their own coaches said that the Magic size of messed with them a little bit. See what I'm saying? They struggle with their size there. Every single time the Magic started out, basically covered their game wire to wire. And whenever they lost the lead or whatever, the Pacers kind of went on a run. Magic answered them right back with a run. So I really think they struggled with their size. Pacers kind of had to go with small ball. So if you're looking at props in this one, look for Terry Taylor in this one. When they put him in at the 5, that's when the Pacers found success. But before that, they were actually about to lose that game. Wouldn't be surprised if they lost this one outright tonight. Magic seemed to be playing a little bit better on the road, covered 2 straight against the spread so far on this road trip. I think they make it 3 in a row here. Give me the Magic here. 7 last night, plus still a few 7s out there, but we'll go official with the plus 6.5. That's the widely market available line right there, my guys. But you shop around, you can't get Magic plus the 7 or wait on it. I like the Magic to have a chance to win this one outright, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans, Shark. We got the Pelicans laying 6 points at the house versus the Golden State Warriors. In theory, revenge spot for the Warriors, but they are in the rest disadvantage here, Shark. Obviously coming off the closer than supposed to be game. A game that was closer than it was than a lot of people thought it would, Shark, last night in Houston. So Warriors coming here, roll back to back. You think they can get some revenge versus the Pelicans?
It's a great question. I think this is probably the most difficult game on the card other than the Chicago game tonight. There's just a lot going on here. And I mean, we've been detailing this since the very beginning of the season. The Dubs are incomprehensibly awful on the road. Of course, they finally did get off the road schneid straight up last night in a game that, honestly, again, was closer than people would have probably thought it should be. 127-120 in Houston. Steph Curry with a ridiculous step-back fadeaway 3 to really ice the game and go night-night on the crowd and whatever he does. But, you know, when you're looking at this game, the one thing that I do not – it's not necessarily I fear, it's I know – the Dubs are going to cover a game on the road this year. They're not going to go 0-41 ATS. And as we talk about this, teams teetering on a loss or teams coming up to a cover, I mean, in my opinion, this seems to be a spot where they might finally cover a road game. Of course, you get a revenge game. They did lose in New Orleans going back a couple weeks in a game where they sat everybody out and they did cover the big number. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the original number. And, you get this environment where ultimately, I think what you look at with the line structure here, when you see the previous game open up at 4, roughly 4.5, the same line, and they did win the game by 9. Now they pull it right back to 4. Dubs getting number on the road. This is at 6.5 now. The personnel is always sketchy in these spots. They're in an ultra fatigue spot. You want to take New Orleans fading the fatigue, but again, this is where it gets scary in sports betting when you're fading trends that just are going to reverse at some point in time. Because, again, it's just not going to go 0-41. So this game for me, I think, is going to hover right around the number at 4, 4.5, now 6.5. It's super tough stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you like the Pelicans, definitely could have got on this one a little bit earlier. Clay went off as well. I just wanted to mention he went off for 10 threes last night. He was going bunkers in that game. So it's crazy. If Clay doesn't go off for bunkers, they could lose versus the Rockets in that game. It was kind of crazy. They started out up double digits. Before you know it, they're down 1 point. I'm not sure what's going on with the Warriors. If they play that type of game tonight, they might get smacked up, man. It's a tough game for me. I'm not betting against the Pelicans here. This is a 6 straight road game, guys. 6 straight home game. 6 straight home game in their same gym. You see what I'm saying? Sitting around just waiting on Tim's come in to smack them up. They're coming off a loss versus Celtics. Can't blame them too much. The Celtics are basically mowing down everybody right now, and they still didn't get blown out in that game, only lost by 8. So I would say they have the rest advantage here. A couple of days off. hadn't had to travel anywhere. Warriors coming off a back-to-back here. They're in a struggle just to beat the Rockets last night, guys. So they did get a win on the road, still didn't cover, still struggling. Something's not right with the Warriors right now. I don't know if it's the bench, if it's the depth, or if it's just not playing the defense, but stand away from them right now. You bet them at the house versus mid-tier teams. They're kind of a fade on the road versus top-tier teams. Shark is right. At some point, they're going to get a cover. I'm not so sure it comes here, but with them getting 6, it's definitely room for them to lose the game but still cover, guys. None for me. Would like to lean towards Pelicans more at that 4. I'm not betting this game, guys. It's definitely a tough one here. Let's go. Zion is back, though, for the Pelicans, guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Milwaukee here, Shark. We got the Bucks. Land 9.5 points at the house, man. This one opened up at 7.5. Dame is out. You look at it, 8.5 up to 9.5/10 now, Shark. Obviously, Giannis coming in pissed off. Terrible game from the free throw line. So he get into it with Harrell after the game, all type of nonsense. Do you think Giannis comes in here pissed off and try to smoke up these Blazers here?
I think he might come in pissed off, but I know this is a team sport, and I know there's 48 minutes of basketball. And on a suddenly not so casual, my favorite Monday, November 21st, 2022, the buy hat is engaged. I know this is a snapshot to not staying the course with recency bias. Of course, Portland has burned us 3 straight games, but my younger self would have said, oh, hell no, we're not betting the Blazers. Get out of here. My more mature, regulated self realizes this team just hit a wall at home and ultimately lost 2 out of 3 coin flips ATS. Now they go on the road, which is where I believe they perform significantly better ATS this season. Portland is 7-1 ATS on the road. Portland is, as we mentioned, 0-4 ATS, last 4 at home. And I think really crucial stuff here. Portland is 2-0 ATS on the road at the East. Damian Lillard is out. So sources are suggesting that one man named Sean Puffy Combs might be sanctioning a flight, a private jet, if you will, to the home locker room in Milwaukee tonight. And if you really go through this in more specific detail, going through the previous road trip that Portland did play without Lillard, off a home loss and a non-cover against Memphis, which we had correctly on Wednesday, November 2nd, they went into Phoenix in road game 1 and did win and cover 108-106. The only time this team has played without Damian Lillard at the East, they did win outright at Miami. And you start to go through the line functionality of this matchup, it's all over Portland. Last year, Milwaukee won in Portland on a strong 10.5, 137-108. They came home. It should have been 13.5. It was short at 11. Portland won in Milwaukee last year, 122-107. Now 11 comes down to 7.5. It's getting steamed up because Lillard's out. And one final point, we've talked about this numerous times. Milwaukee came out this season 9-0 straight up. They capped themselves. They are now 2-4 straight up since. They're not supposed to come back to winning 10 in a row. They're coming down to a normalized average. This game will be tight tonight. Portland +9, 1 unit official.
Yeah, I like it, man. We can go official with the 9.5, Shark. I'll be honest, it's playing 10. It's playing 10s out there. So I mean, it's not widely available. We're gonna go ahead and go official with the 9.5. I'm on the Blazers here as well. I'm not scared, guys. Still like the guys. We got to understand something. Like we lost versus the Jazz, right? But we got to understand, man. That was still the right play. They got down by 16 points, came all the way back, stormed to tie the game with 2-3 minutes left. See what I'm saying? I had to go back and look at the next day just because I fell asleep on the game, but they were in that game, man. I don't fault them too much. This is the Jazz. Jazz are playing red hot. They play defense. They get hot from 3. We can't fault the Blazers too much. And Dame got hurt in that game as well. We know it's always tough when the star player gets injured. You don't know how the players are going to react to that shit, man. This is the bounce back game. I like the Bucks, guys. I love them. I love Giannis. He's one of the best players in the league. I think the Bucks are overvalued. Simply put, I'm not laying double digits with them right now. So this is somewhat a fade spot for the Bucks, in my opinion. They win the game by 4 to 5 points. It's a win-win for everybody. For the sports books, for us as bettors, the Bucks get a win as well at the house. Give me the Blazers here, plus the 9.5, plus the 10, Shark. I believe they keep this game close, and they have the defense to keep this game close as well. Guys like Winslow, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic down low. So you make sure Giannis doesn't go bunkers, and then you'll win the game. You can cover this game. Give me the Blazers here, basically plus the double digits here, Shark. Like the hat, my Rip City. Let's go over here to the streets of Oklahoma City here. We got the Thunder laying 2 points versus the Knicks, Shark. Last game of a 5-game road trip for the Knicks. You think they run out of gas here?
I do. And a hat that I've been wearing frequently and we're going to wear again, Oklahoma City, the buy hat is engaged, -2.5, 1 unit. And Jay, as you mentioned, this is just a brutal, brutal spot for the Knicks. The Knicks started the season 4-0 ATS at the West. They are now cratering. They're 0-2 in their last 2 ball games. They find themselves here on a 3rd and 4 road back-to-back. And even worse than that, they find themselves in their 5th game in 7 nights. This is the worst it gets in an NBA campaign from a scheduling standpoint. And you find Oklahoma City coming in here off a road loss. Again, symptomatic stuff. What we look at these losses we've taken recently, as Jay mentioned with Portland the other day, Portland actually got up by 1, I believe, in the 4th quarter before Jordan Clarkson ran off 8 consecutive points. But Oklahoma City took a quick heater from Memphis early on, and the game was super tight on the number. We stay the course of action, and we find just a great, great dynamic for Oklahoma City at home on this line number. The only time they've been laying 2.5, 3 points at home this year against the East, it was against Orlando, and they did win the game 116-108. That was an Orlando team that had been laying points in Oklahoma City the previous matchup and lost. This is the exact same environment. It's a revenge game for the Knicks, but it's moving heavily towards the Thunder. Knicks -5.5 at home, moving 8 points at open. This is what we look for with the Thunder. And again, I've been taking the Knicks on the road at the West. You saw me take them against Utah, suggested against Denver, suggested against Memphis in the opener. This is where they crater down. It's horrible travel. It's a bottom-out spot, and it's where the Thunder are really starting to show signs of professionalism. This group is a buy team. It's a buy environment. We're on it, -2.5, 1 unit tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off. I remember that Magic game now as well. I remember OKC. That's exactly what they did in the 4th quarter. They came back to win that game in that one, guys. So you know what I actually see in this one? I can see the Knicks coming off 2 straight losses, actually getting smoked yesterday. I could see them coming out in the first half. So that'll be my lean in this game. Knicks first. I mean, you could get nice odds on it as well for that halftime, full times. Knicks at the half, Thunder full game. I know they're usually north of +425, sometimes +500 in my opinion. So that's why I look here. Knicks coming out with something strong, and then they run out of gas here in the 4th quarter. That's exactly what I see happen. Knicks first half, Thunder full game, my guys. So that's what I look for now. And Shark could not talk you off. Definitely see them, especially the way they run the gun as well, especially the way SGA is balling right now, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Chicago, man. We got the Bulls getting 6 points at the house versus the red-hot Celtics. What do we do with this game, Shark? Not betting against the Celtics, man. I can tell you that. The Bulls are 2-0 against the spread, though, versus them this year.
Yeah, this is pretty much the definition of just an impossible game to cap. As you mentioned, the number is on Boston, and I've bet this game twice correctly this year. I did have Chicago in the 4th game of the season on Monday, October 24th I didn't say they would beat them, but I did say they would cover a +6, and they did win the game outright, 120-102 at home. Then it went on the road. It was short. I believe we both had this play on a Friday night. Boston did win, not cover, a short home 7, 123-119. So now if you're 7 home, should come down to 4 road. It's holding at 6. It is a Boston number. But here's the problem. Boston's on a dub-9. They're scorching hot. Chicago comes in here really at the bottom point of their season. L4 lost 6 out of 7. Just in a really low point, coming off an awful, awful loss to Orlando in what apparently was a look-ahead game, a game that I missed on Friday night. And, one of the things that's incredibly tough about this game is the fact that you get a Chicago revenge game, but you also get Boston in a revenge element against the spread. They are 0-2 ATS against Chicago. So this is the interesting point about capping NBA basketball, where you have 2 different markets going concurrent to each other. You have the money line revenge market, and you have the ATS efficiency market. Theoretically, the revenge more so than not is actually on Boston ATS revenge here, because it's harder to cover basketball games. It's easier to win. Free play, I hate to say it, I would go with the number here at -6 because it's already come through 2 times for us this year. You don't like to buy a dub-9, but you know what? This Celtics team is just that impressive. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I got problems. I don't like to buy dub nines, man. I don't. I don't have a play on this game, but I mean, I'm not betting against the Celtics. But we know at some point, especially in the season, I mean, you're not just going to go balls to the wall forever. Now, I'll give credit to the Celtics. The way they play basketball, they don't have to go balls to the wall. They're out there just playing their game, and teams can't keep up with them. It's really that simple. But I don't know, man. Bulls coming off a buzzer beater loss, couple days off. They've 2-0. They've shown that they can match up perfectly versus the Celtics already this year, and that's with Marcus Smart out there. So, and he's still out, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, man. Free play lean Bulls, but I'm not betting it, guys. I mean, Celtics took enough of my money. I tell you that right now. I'm not betting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls continue to show success versus this Celtics squad. Just I don't know what's going on, but I mean, this year we see the Celtics balling. Bulls, they hang with them when they play, man. No matter how they're playing, they come in. I don't know, man. We see. But let's go over to the streets of Minnesota here. We got the Wolves laying 8.5 points versus the Heat in this one, Shark. You like some in this game, my guy?
I do, and it's a pleasure to wear this hat. I haven't worn it this season. First time the pilot hat. Minnesota Timberwolves minus 8.5, 1 unit, and a lot going on here. But I think this is really a snapshot to Miami Heat basketball this season so far. And, you know, I went back to the last time they went to the finals in the bubble. And we said this going back to last week or the week before, but we said, remember how long it took for them to get into their wind and really start to ball out? And, you know, I went back to it last night. I was astounded. In the 2020-2021 season, the season after Miami went to the finals in the bubble, they came out and they were 22-24 through 46 games. This team was under 500 through 46 games. So the fact that they're 7-10 through 17, I don't think this is going to reverse anytime soon. They did finish that season 19-8, found some win, and did wash out of the playoffs. But Miami's 1-5-1 ATS on the road. They're 7-10 straight up. They're on a 3rd and 4 road back-to-back. They're 5th and 8 nights. And a really specific corollary to fade Miami here was the only other time they were on a road back-to-back at the West. They did take an ATS loss at Golden State on Thursday, October 27th, 123-110. And you go to the other side of this game, I think Minnesota is turning the corner here. I think Minnesota is going to show ATS wind. Minnesota is 3-6 home ATS. They're 0-2 home ATS against the East. But the key point here is, Jay, we talked about this twice. When Milwaukee came into Minnesota, Milwaukee was on a revenge game from last year, and it was a Milwaukee line. The Knicks came in there and got them as well, 120-107. That was also a Knicks line. This is a Wolves line. Wolves did get them last year. Wolves have won a sequence of games 4 straight against Miami. They turn up in this spot. Last year, Minnesota got them at home minus on a +1, 113-101. Short road +3.5, 113-104. Now we get the flip to -7.5, -8.5. It's a blowout line. Minnesota should get there tonight. This is a bottom out spot for Miami. The back end of a trip, 3rd and 4 back-to-back. They get a divisional revenge game against Washington when they go home. They should show a little bit of win there. And as I mentioned before, I don't know if they're going to show win until after the All-Star break. This team went deep in the playoffs. They're deflated. They're an emotional group. They got a lot of older guys. This is not where they just decide to bounce back. Minnesota, let's get there tonight. Over 10 points, 1 unit official.
Yeah, I could not talk you off, man. The Timberwolves, after being so lackluster, are actually trying to show that they're a buy team down the Heat, man. I'm not sure. I believe they're still without Hero, Butler. Lowry's pretty old as well. I know Adebayo came back yesterday. He's still pretty banged up. The Heaters seem like the walking wounded right now, man. They got smoked yesterday, damn near by 30 points versus the Cavs. It's a tough game for me, man. It's a tough one for me to read. I'm glad you have an official on it. Talked it out. My guy liking the Wolves here, -8.5 official play, my guys. Let's go up here to the street of Los Angeles here, man. We got the Clippers laying 3.5 versus the Jazz, man. Apparently the Jazz are going to the NBA Finals and going to win it this year, my guys. It's tough to go against the Jazz right now, Shark. Jazz money line here should just keep betting Jazz money line here, Shark, basically.
I mean, particularly against the West. I mean, the Jazz against the West are just an absolute juggernaut. And, you know, their only real hole in their armor, if you want to call it that, has come against the East. Obviously, they lost 3 straight ball games at Washington, at Philly, and home game 1 against New York. But then again, since then, a very impressive win against Phoenix at home on Friday night. Went into Portland the following night in a 3rd and 4 back-to-back. or not a third and four, excuse me, just a back-to-back, but really put it on Portland and was very effective. Portland could have blown them out in the first quarter, did not. Game completely flipped.
God.
Malik Beasley. I know. I thought that game was about to get up to 25 points and just
right.
Brutal. And of course, Malik Beasley went off in the second quarter with a 3-ball. This is what we've said about this team all year. This is their 19th ball game. We've been saying it for about 18 ball games. Professional guys, shooters, disrespected players. They have a chip on their shoulder. And, you want to buy the Clippers here. The Clippers do find themselves in a revenge game. The Clippers did lose to Utah. Of course they did on Sunday, November 6th, 110-102. You get a similar number. It's actually shading towards the Jazz, however. That game opened up at -4.5, and Utah did win the game 110-102. This is coming in and open at 3.5, I believe. So it is shading towards Utah. You want to see it at least hold at the original number. The Clippers come in here off 2 straight wins, a blowout win against the Spurs. I think it's going to be tight. As much as I'd love to take the Clippers because I think the in-season revenge game in a small window is definitely an emotional point, I think this could be tight, and I think fading Utah right now against the West specifically is just really difficult stuff.
Yeah, not fading Utah right now. I'm actually not even betting their games. I know at some point they will crater. They had hit a little down spot for a little bit, and then we were wondering, are they going back down to earth? No, back-to-back wins. So I could understand the one versus the Suns, but the back-to-back coming off that, I know Beasley got hot versus the Suns as well. But for the Blazers play really good defense as well, man. So I just feel like, man, this team ain't good. They're not going to take them lightly. They lost 5 straight games to them, all this stuff. They're going to bring that defense that we saw versus the Nets, all that. Man, this mother come out 15-5 and then just let go of that shit. But regardless, man, the Jazz. I mean, you do get Kawhi back this time for the Clippers. So in theory, you got a full squad here. You got to guard the 3-point line versus these guys, man. It's really that simple. You guard the 3 versus the Jazz, you can beat them, man. Obviously, marketing, you got to worry about him as well. I'm not betting this game, man. I'm not betting against the Jazz right now, and I don't want to bet on them either. But I mean, it's my money. I can do whatever I want. I'm staying away from their games, guys. There's better spots out there for me personally. I couldn't talk you off just autopiloting the Jazz until they show something different, my guys. But now, man, let's talk about some free picks here, my guys. Talk about some free picks. We'll talk about shirts. Still waiting on them to get here, guys. You guys will get the shirts. I promise you, my guys. I promise you. But Shark, what you liking on today's card? Free NBA picks every single day. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe, and bring that energy, man. Hit the like button. Shark, what you like?
Absolutely. 3 top plays, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the wave, get out of the water. We're going to get into a rhythm here. We're going to get into our focus point, obviously, month 2 of 8. I don't want to hyper sensationalize last week. Didn't go our direction. The present is now. The beginning is now. An opportunity to dominate. Buy hat engaged, -8.5 Wolves. Step up to the plate here. We got to get going at home. Miami just in a brutal, brutal spot. Speaking of brutal spots, Knicks 5th and 7 nights. 2 consecutive 3rd and 4 back-to-back sequences. Last game of a road trip. OKC turned up at home. We're on -2.5 1 unit. And we're taking the Blazers on the road, +9.5. Talked about it before in detail. Team without Lillard has performed well, ATS. They performed well in road game 1 at Phoenix off a home loss, which is what this is, road game 1 off a home loss, and also a cover in their only performance at the East at Miami, a 110-107 victory. Beautiful Monday it is. We got a lot going on today. World Cup in the afternoon. Going to watch it myself. I hope you guys enjoy that. Jay Money, a pleasure as always. Close them out and let's dominate.
I might have to watch some World Cup, man. I've never watched any World Cup, my guys. But man, it's some plays out there today, man. I'm trying to cash. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to cash. Pissed off, man. Winning makes everything better, my guys. But let's get on a roll here, man. Let's get on a roll. Spot that I really like today, man. I'm on Cavs first half, full game, man. This should be a trifecta spot. I mean, I had taken Cavs first quarter. We're gonna go to the casino, knock some drinks back. See what I'm saying? I might hop on the first quarter as well. Cavs early is really the best one, especially with them being on the back-to-back. But they're going to get it done full game as well, guys. They've been losing versus the Hawks. Trae Young's been on them over there. Now they don't have their depth over there. So now it's just the starting 5 minus Collins. Collins a little checked out. I sense something different with the Hawks. They're really close to trading Collins. When they trade them, they'll get on the run. But for now, we're fading them. Cavs on a sustained bye as well. This team's about to mow some teams down. Give me the Cavs here. One of the best teams, top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I think they start to show it here on this homestand. Give me the Cavs first half minus the 1, full game as well, minus the 2. I'm also on the Magic, got them at +7 last night. It's +6.5 right now. We're going official with the Magic +6.5. I lean first half as well on the Magic +3.5. I think I like that one as well. And Blazers, man, +9.5. We +10s, plenty of +10s out there, guys. We'll go official with the +9.5. I'm betting +10. I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, man. Let's get some cash. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, retweet, all it. It's Us Against the Bookies, my guys. We will win. We back tomorrow. Hit the like button, guys. We out. Let's get this cash, man. It's Us Against the Bookies.